She walked away like you were nothing. No emotion, no hesitation, just gone. You stood there, frozen, watching the door close. Not in shock, but in shame. You knew damn well why she left. You let yourself rot. You stopped showing up with fire. You got weak. You got predictable. You got soft. You used to lead. You used to chase growth. Now you barely recognize the man in the mirror. She didn't leave a man. She left a shell. And standing there in that silence, you felt it. The weight of your own failure. Not hers. Yours. You don't need her back. You don't need her love. You need to rebuild the man she forgot how to respect. Let her leave. Let her forget. Let her talk. None of it matters now. You've got one job. Kill the weak version of yourself and bury him for good. You waited for the message. You waited for the apology. You waited for someone to check in. No one showed up. That silence wasn't a mistake. It was the truth, loud and clear. No one is coming. Not your friends, not your family, not her. Everyone only cares about their own life. They moved on while you stayed broken. They didn't forget you. They just stopped thinking about you. You became background noise, easy to ignore. That's what happens when you fall off. The world keeps spinning without you. You sat in the pain, hoping time would fix it. Time doesn't fix anything. Time buries you if you sit still. You let this happen. You lowered your standard. You gave your power away, and now you're drowning in the result. No one is coming to drag you out. No one is going to hand you strength. No one is responsible for saving the man you abandoned. Stand up, lock in, shut the world out, and turn the fire back on. This is where God mode starts. Not with applause, not with hope, with silence, with pressure, with no backup plan. Just you and the war you refuse to lose. Look in the mirror, not the quick glance, the real one, the one where you don't blink and you don't look away. You see it, the softness in your eyes, the hesitation in your body, the version of you that let it all slip. That's the enemy, not her, not them, not the world. It's the version of you that sleeps in, that skips workouts, that scrolls through distractions while your goals rot. That version of you quit long before anyone else did. He made excuses. He waited for motivation. He played it safe and called it balance. And now you feel the price in your chest, in your gut, in your reflection. That version of you has to die. Not tomorrow, not eventually, now. You don't need to get a little better. You need to bury that version and never let him breathe again. God mode starts when weakness gets no mercy. You don't need closure. You don't need a fresh start. You need work, not ideas, not plans, not another wave of motivation. You need reps. You need early mornings with no one watching. You need heavy weight and silence. You need discipline without reward. This isn't about fixing what broke. This is about building something that can't be broken again. The world gave you pain. You answer with output. You lift through it. You run through it. You sweat through it. You train when you're tired. You show up when your mind screams to stay soft. You put your head down and grind. Not for applause, not for revenge, but for resurrection. This isn't healing. This is war. And every rep is a bullet. Every set is a warning. Every session is proof. The old you is dead and the new one doesn't quit. There's nothing impressive about this phase. No highlight reels, no compliments, no one clapping while you suffer in silence. This is the part no one talks about. The nights you train with sore joints and a tired mind. The meals you eat when you'd rather cheat. The days you show up with nothing left in the tank. You're not chasing fire. You're stacking bricks, brick by brick. set by set, quiet, repetitive, relentless. This is where most people quit. They need validation. They need results fast. You don't. You stay in the dark. You stay in the trench. You learn to love the boredom because that's where the power builds. God mode isn't built in inspiration. It's built in isolation. And if you can suffer in silence long enough, you become something they can't keep up with. You don't become a savage by thinking about it. You don't earn power by talking about it. You build it through repetition. Every action reinforces strength. Every hesitation feeds weakness. You are shaped by what you do consistently, not by how you feel, not by what you say, only by what you execute over and over again. You wake up early. You train when it hurts. You show up without applause. You execute when no one's watching. That's who you are now. Not a phase, not a plan, a standard. God mode doesn't care how you feel. It only recognizes patterns. You're not back just because you trained once. You're not locked in just because you posted a set. You're not built just because you had one good week. Stop pretending. You skipped months. You broke your word. You let comfort eat your discipline alive. Now you do a few workouts and act like you've returned. That's not a comeback. That's a costume. Real returns don't need to be announced. They show up in the pattern, in the silence, in the grind no one sees. Until then, you're not back. You're still pretending. This isn't a warm-up. This isn't a test run. This is all in or stay broken. Half measures built your rock bottom. Comfort kept you weak. Distractions kept you average. You quit on yourself once. You lowered your standard. You let softness become normal. That ends here. There's no easing back in. There's no balance to find. There's only full pressure every day until the weak version is gone for good. You don't get to pause. You don't get to negotiate with pain. You show up. You execute. You dominate. Anything less. And you stay stuck in the same loop that broke you. You burn the past. Now burn the fallback plan. You didn't go through hell just to feel better. You didn't rebuild just to blend back in. You didn't suffer in silence to return to average. You were built to dominate, to show up with pressure, to set the tone, not follow it. You stopped breaking. You stopped explaining. You stopped hesitating. Now you move with certainty. Now you carry weight with no words. Now you walk into every room knowing you can't be broken again. This isn't survival. This is command. You don't need approval. You don't need applause. You move forward with force because you've earned every inch of it. God mode isn't a mindset. It's a system. It's who you became when pain tried to erase you and failed. This isn't momentum. This isn't a streak. This is the new baseline. You don't fall off again. You don't need reminders. You don't need to get back on track. This is the track. This is the pace. This is the standard now. You wake up with pressure. You carry discipline like it's your name. You attack every day like it owes you something. You're not trying to improve. You're not hoping to stay consistent. You've become consistent. This isn't about motivation anymore. It's about identity. And identity doesn't get turned off. God mode isn't a mood. It's who you are now. And there's no going back. You don't need to post about it. You don't need to explain what you're doing. You don't owe anyone a word. The results speak loud enough. Let them wonder how you got here. Let them question how you leveled up so fast. Let them whisper while you keep working. You're not doing this for credit. You're not chasing validation. You're chasing pressure. You're chasing fire. You're chasing legacy. Every rep you hit, every meal you prep, every second you lock in, it adds up. And eventually they won't be able to ignore it. Not because you told them, because you built something too real to deny. This is what God mode looks like. Quiet, relentless, unstoppable. You remember who you were before the pain hit. Comfortable, distracted, weak. That version of you is dead. Not resting, not healing. Dead. There's no going back, no breaks, no days off, just to reset. There is no reset. You fought too hard to become this. You sacrificed too much to rebuild. You bled for this identity, and you don't let it slip for anything. One skipped session becomes two. One excuse becomes your new pattern. One moment of weakness rewinds everything. You keep your foot on the gas. You stay sharp. You stay dangerous. God mode doesn't forgive softness. It punishes it. And you've come too far to let the weak version crawl back in. Let them doubt you. Let them laugh. Let them think you're just on another phase. They have no idea what you become. You're not trying to convince anyone. You're not arguing. You're not talking. You're building. You're executing. You're leaving a trail of proof they can't ignore. They'll show up late. They'll watch from the outside. They'll pretend they always believed in you. But you'll know the truth. They slept on you. They counted you out. They thought you were finished. Let them sleep. You're not interested in waking them up. You're too busy becoming the nightmare they never saw coming. You're not chasing hype anymore. You're not looking for applause. You've outgrown all of that. You don't post, you don't announce, you just show up and execute every single time. You lead with pressure. You set the tone just by walking in the room. You move like someone who can't be broken because you've already been rebuilt. You don't explain your standards. You enforce them. You don't ask for permission. You take territory. This isn't ego. This is control. This is command. They talk. You move. They guess. You build. They react. You dominate. God mode isn't loud. It's silent. It's surgical. It's permanent. This isn't healing. This isn't recovery. This is war. You buried the weak version of yourself. You erased every excuse. You silenced the noise and built a machine. Now you move different. Now you think sharper. Now you carry pressure that crushes anything soft in front of it. You don't flinch, you don't fold, you don't wait. You execute, you dominate, you build until there's nothing left to take. You don't owe the world your story. You owe it your results, and they're coming fast. God mode wasn't a goal. It was the only way out. And now that you're in it, you never leave.